Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about web design, what it is, and how to design your own website. These days having a website for your business is pretty much non-optional. It's one of the main ways people are discovering new businesses, ordering from businesses and things like that. So it's important to understand what web design actually is and then how you can go about designing your own website, or if needed to, hiring other people to help you design your own website. If you don't have any technical background, you may have some misconceptions. So for example, you may not understand the difference between web design and web development. So we'll go over some common questions and go over some design and development basics as well in this video. As a business owner, having a technical background isn't a priority. Your priority isn't to be an expert on the digital world. Rather, you should have enough of an understanding to ensure that you reap the benefits of going online for your business. So technically, web design is an industry that encompasses a number of varied tasks. To create a website, you obviously need to know how to code. However, to create a website which offers ROI for a business, so return on investment, there is a lot more to consider. That's as well. So having a site that looks good is really only half the battle. You need to understand or need someone who understands things like how color works, what items need to be included to make visitors stay around and explore your site, what you have to offer, and what factors will enable the search engines to find your website and display it to their users. Finally, you need content that appeals to visitors, and this content isn't always just blogs or images. It can be something like videos as well. It includes information and also some entertainment as well. So there's lots of tools and essentially ingredients which make up effective web design. Some of the job roles which make up a design team doesn't just include a web designer as well. The names for roles you encounter may include a content writer, programmer, or even a very specific roles like SEO specialist or UX designer. The actual web designer may be responsible for the layout and other visual components of the website. Web design companies are made up of a large number of different specialized roles. It's important when you hire someone to help build your website that you discuss with them what they include in their service, or you may end up being disappointed and end up having to bring in other people. It's much more cost effective to get it right the first time. So as mentioned before, establishing a strong and engaging online presence has to start with a secure, functional, and appealing website design. Whether you need a sophisticated e-commerce solution or simple, attractive website for your small business, you want to make sure that the design that you pick will cater to your needs, will have the functionality that you need, and will also make sure that user experience is as easy and as quick as possible. So web design is essentially ensuring that your website looks attractive, but there's a lot more elements to keep in mind. The core goal of a business website is to attract new customers and attract new visitors and turn them into customers. Any business website is only as good as the profit it generates. So you need to think about a new website just like any other investment. If your site isn't delivering results, it's probably time to think about updating it. At ProfileTree, we've designed and launched a number of websites which drive results for a wide range of businesses across the UK and Ireland. You want to make sure that the web design company that you hire or the designer that you hire are experts in things like modern design, functionality, search engine optimization, conversion rate optimization, user experience, user interface, content marketing, website navigation, development, performance optimization, security, and any kind of marketing integrations as well. Web design says a lot about a business. The way you present yourself online can have a concrete impact on your revenues. In many cases, the message of a business or brand can be effectively communicated through web design that incorporates engaging imagery and video content as well. On top of that, your website has to be functional. The core of an effective, so for example, if you want to sell online, so if you have an e-commerce business, the core of an effective e-commerce strategy is ensuring that users can quickly navigate between your site, between the pages and different products, and take the actions that you want them to. An effective website can supercharge your revenue figures overnight, and the right web design solutions also determine how and when users can find your website. with SEO being impacted by content, design, performance, and user experience. It's also important to understand that there's different web designs for different types of websites. So if you are an e-commerce website, the layout and look and feel of your website is going to be different to a website that's simply a portfolio website or a blog website. That's because between these two websites, different areas need to be highlighted more. So when you're an e-commerce website, you'll see products being at the forefront, a lot of call to actions on the homepage and things like that. Whereas at a simple portfolio website, you'll see more of the blogs and more kind of imagery on the website as well. So it's not sort of like a one size fits all when it comes to web design. You do need to think about what you want your website to do, what's the main focus on your website, and then center your design around that. For online retailers, for example, effective e-commerce website design is really critical. In fact, choosing the right web design agency can make or break your online business. It can also greatly impact your ability to reach and sell to new and existing customers. And this can include things like call to actions around your pages, website navigation, making sure the checkout process is as seamless as possible, and using as much opportunities to upsell your products as well. Another really important thing to think about whenever you're designing your own website is mobile web design. So mobile web design is the mainstream nowadays, with mobile devices being used more often than desktops around the world. Mobile-friendly web design is no longer optional. It has to be as part of your web design as well. If your site doesn't function properly on mobile, your sales will suffer. And even search engines these days are more concerned more than ever, with how your site works on phones and tablets. The rise of mobile-first indexing means that your mobile site contributes more to your SEO than even the desktop version. As a business, you need to ensure that your website is fully optimized for SEO, user experience, and CRO across all your devices. And this is something that ties into responsive web design. So responsive web design is a technique that allows you to use the same website layout and content across all different devices. Responsive web design basically means the visual elements automatically resize to fit the user's window, and this eliminates the need for dedicated mobile pages or compromise your design to suit different devices. So for example, you can see now we went from the desktop to the mobile version, and you can see it's not using the same layout, but the same content is on the page, but it's laid out slightly differently, so it's easier to navigate and read the content that's on the page. Had the desktop version still been used, everything would have been squished, it would have been a lot smaller, and it's not something that would have been easy for users to navigate. So making sure that your website is responsive is really, really important. We're seeing that a lot as well whenever we look at sort of top referrers to a person's site, to a client's site, or the top used devices. Mobile leads the way in terms of people coming onto your site using a mobile device as opposed to a desktop or even a tablet. So responsive web design is also really important. Another key factor to think about when you're designing a website is SEO. So there are lots of web design agencies which can create attractive websites, but very few truly understand how web design impacts your SEO as well. Web design elements have an enormous impact on SEO, including through security, performance, UX, usability, navigation, content, metadata, and other visual elements. Similarly, issues relating to any of these can easily undermine your website's traffic. So the way that you design your website, whatever tags that you use, elements that you use, they all tie into your SEO, and Google will use that also to understand if this is a user-friendly website or not. So website design kind of merges into development afterwards. So web design and development do go hand in hand, but a lot of businesses don't really understand the role of each. So very broadly, web design is about the visuals and structure of your website, while development is concerned with performance, security, and functionality. With changing technology, the distinction between the two has become a little bit blurrier. When you're launching a new site, it's crucial to choose a web design agency who are also experts at modern development practices. Choosing the right developers is critical for ensuring the long-term success of your website. Effective web development also influences key design-related factors like the user experience and load speeds. When choosing a web design agency, it's important to opt for a partner with strong development credentials as well. It's definitely important that your business does pay attention to web design. There are currently 5 billion internet users worldwide, and that's a really big audience, but it also means that there's a lot of competition from other businesses when trying to stand out in the online space. Your business's website needs to be designed in such a way that's useful, informative, and engaging for audiences. It should showcase your product or service in the best possible way and convey your brand to your audience. The message of a business or brand can be effectively communicated through smart web design that incorporates engaging text, imagery, and video content. If your website is lacking in design, it won't get many visitors, which means less traffic and a reduced amount of potential sales. Having an established online website that users can visit may help your business in lots of ways, including attracting new customers and clients, increasing your potential client and customer reach, updating existing customers about your business, promoting and increasing awareness of your brand, engaging with your customers or clients, showcasing your product service in the best possible way, increasing visits to your website, which in turn has an effect on sales, remaining relevant in a competitive market, providing a source of contact and support, a platform where you can discuss your expertise, develop an online community, and you can also track visits and engagement with your website as well. So that's essentially the basics of web design. And when it comes to web design, then the people you're technically going to be talking to, or who's going to be responsible for the design part of your website, is a web designer. So a web designer designs websites. They are essentially responsible for what's known as the front end of the website. So what we're seeing now, this is essentially the front end of the website. This is what the clients and customers are going to see, all the content, and this is what's going to look nice and be easily navigated for your customer. The color, text, imagery, videos, layout, navigation, this overall appearance of your business website. And this role is different to that of a web developer, who is concerned with the back end of the website, so the coding, security, functionality, even hosting, things like that. However, web designers and web developers both work together to create an engaging, easily navigated, and attractive website. They are different, but they are integral processes, and each requires a different set of skills as well. Web designers create bespoke websites that portray your brand in the best possible way. So it's really important that if you are deciding to hire a web design agency to create your website for your business, that you ask the right questions and that you really vet the agency and make sure you convey to them exactly it is what you're looking for and what you need from them. And it's also good to check out a few web design agencies as well to see what they offer and compare pricing, things like that. Web designers are creative and keep up to date with the latest website trends. They use a host of skills in website design, ranging from user experience, user interface, to graphic design. Some of the skills web designers have to know are things like knowledge of design principles. So web designers have a trained eye in design principles for websites. They are able to perfect the composition of a website and practice emergence, which is the process of arranging visual elements so that the user can easily digest them. User experience. So user experience is concerned with how visitors respond and react to your design. This is based on how easy the site is to use and the interactive elements that are incorporated. They're also skilled in graphic design. So web designers use their skills in graphic design to create engaging visuals that can convey information simply. They can incorporate company logos and create custom illustrations as well. Web designers will also have sound knowledge in design programming language like Photoshop, Illustrator, Lightroom, and InDesign. If a website has too many demanding and contrasting colors, it will distract from brands, images, and information on the website. So it's really important that you're a web designer, or if you're wanting to be a web designer, that you are knowledgeable in the color theory, and if you're familiar with color wheel and complementary color theory, so that'll help you design a website that allows visitors to absorb content in a more pleasing fashion and prevent a high bounce rate as well. Web designers also perfect the user interface, which includes things like menus, web pages, and buttons. This is everything that allows a user to navigate through a website without any obstructions. Typography is another tool as well, another skill that website designers would need to understand and be an expert in. So typography is essentially the art of arranging letters and text as well. So it may sound simple, but a lot of thought goes into selecting the font for a website and positioning it to highlight important parts of the text as well. Another really important thing that web designers need to understand is how to customize templates, add new visuals to blog space, and to create static pages. So essentially knowledge of content management systems, otherwise known as CMS. And that will all help with designing bespoke websites that are easy for users to use and navigate as well, and makes it easy for you to manage and add content as well. So if you're wanting to design your own website, there are different types of web design that you need to consider and you need to understand about. The nature of your business will influence how your website is designed. Depending on your business and what your business provides to your customers, certain elements of the website need to be highlighted more than others. So one thing we talked about earlier was responsive web design. So this was essentially ensuring that your website works on a range of devices, mobile, desktop, or tablet. Visual elements will automatically resize to fit the user's window, eliminating the need for dedicated mobile pages or compromising your design to suit different devices. Website visitors will no longer have to switch to the desktop version in order to see all the website's features. You want to make sure that the web design agency you pick, or whenever you are designing your website, you create websites that are responsive, ensuring that visitors are able to navigate it easily and digest the information in a well-structured and pleasing format. One way to check that your website is responsive is using the inspect element tool. So once you have the website on the front end built out, what you can do is just right click and click on inspect, and this will bring out the inspect element editor, and it allows you to basically switch your device, your viewport. Either you can give custom dimensions, or you can pick dimensions of existing devices like iPhones, different Samsungs, tablets, things like that, and this will then resize your website, your viewport, and then you can see how your website design is based on that design, based on that viewport. It's important to note that this isn't always accurate. Sometimes the inspect element does glitch out, or sometimes it does look a little bit different if you were to actually view it on an actual tablet or an actual mobile, but it does give you an overall understanding, and any really big issues, any really big sort of design issues, you can quickly fix using the inspect element tool as well. So it's a really good sort of handy thing to have whenever you are designing your website, or whenever your web designer is designing your website. Another tool that you can use that's a bit more that's a lot more accurate and actually a lot more flexible and gives you a lot more opportunities to test is a tool called BrowserStack. So BrowserStack is a cloud, web, and mobile testing platform that provides developers and designers the ability to test their website and mobile applications across on-demand browsers, operating systems, and real mobile devices. So essentially it's another sort of extension that you can add to your Chrome, Firefox, whatever browser that you use, and essentially allows you to view your website not only on different devices. So with the inspect element you could only really do devices. We can also test it on different operating systems, test it on different browsers, different platforms, things like that. So it's it's a more kind of thorough way to test your design and making sure that your design is compatible on a range of different devices, platforms, and things like that, which is also really important that you test for as well, as different browsers will render things differently, different operating systems will render websites differently, so you want to make sure that it's as up to date as possible. It's also a lot more accurate than with the inspect element tool would be as well. You can also test from anywhere and at any time. You can basically connect the tools that you already use to capture bugs, file issues, and notify team members without ever actually leaving the dashboard. It's not free. There are pricing plans that they offer, but it is a really good investment when it comes to your web design, as poor mobile design will lead to a loss in customers, will lead to a loss in viewers on your site, and a high bounce rate as well. So while it is something extra to pay for, it is definitely worth the investment if you're wanting to making sure that your website is compatible on most, if not all, browsers and platforms as well. Other ways to design your website also involves custom web design. So custom web design is a popular option for business websites that need bespoke functionality, complex branding, and leading performance. With custom web design, you can maximize the speed and security of your business website. Custom web design also embeds SEO practices, which aligns with Google's core Web Vitals algorithm update, proving to be a really successful method for beating competitors on search engine result pages as well. With custom web design, you have full reign in how you want the website to look. We can help create a custom build that is entirely unique for your brand and populated with the website features that you want included. A fully custom website offers considerably more flexibility than a website builder or template-based platform. It's ideal for larger organizations or businesses that receive large volumes of traffic as well. As I mentioned before, e-commerce websites will also have a different way on how things are laid out. So e-commerce websites like B2C, so business to consumer websites, will focus on the target audience and how they respond to different design elements. Customer research is a really crucial part of any web design project, no matter what the functionality is as well. But effective e-commerce website design is critical, and choosing the right web design agency or building it yourself, but knowing all of the right functionality and the right tools can make or break your online business. Ineffective web design can greatly impact both your ability to reach and sell to new customers and existing customers as well. As mentioned before, if you are deciding to design your own website, you want to think about the functionality, and you want to think about different web design templates that are out there, and you also want to think about like color theory, for example, making sure you're using the right colors and what's important to know as well. We have lots of videos before about how to design, about what web designers do and how to use color theory. But another way to get your website designed, if you don't want to start with a blank slate, or if you're really struggling with web design in general, is to start off with a template and either use that template and customize it to your own branding and your own content, and have that used as a starting point. So when it comes to building your website, using platforms like Wix, for example, not only does it help you with your web design, as Wix come with a variety of different templates and themes, it does also help with development, because once you've selected your theme, most of your website is already built for you at that point. All you need to do is fill it with your content and update it with your branding. So to get started with Wix, what you want to do is go into wix.com and then just click on Get Started. And you want to sign up for an account. So with Wix, the first initial sign up is free. Wix can be completely free to use, but then once your site is ready and you want to connect it to like a custom domain, you then need to select a plan, but their plans are also really affordable as well. So you want to sign up with your email. You can also continue with Google or with Facebook. And then what you can do is just click on Create New Site and start building out your site. And what Wix will do is it will ask you a few questions in terms of what kind of website you're creating, what kind of functionality that you want, and what you want to add to it. And then Wix will essentially use those questions to design the website for you. It'll use templates and it'll use themes as well, and you can select from whichever one that you want. So it'll ask you what kind of website you're creating, and you would just type in what kind of website, and you want to give the name of your website or your store. And then it'll ask you about what you want to add to your website, and this is essentially asking you about website functionality. As mentioned before, e-commerce websites will look slightly different to blog websites, because different elements of your website will need more focus or less focus. So in this example, we'll add the online store, but you can add other things like the blog. You can add video, you can add a forum, you can add Instagram feeds, things like that. You can add more than one thing as well. And if you ever want to add things later on, you can. So right now we're not selecting blog, but if later on when you're developing your site you realize actually you do want to add a blog, it's very easy to add afterwards as well. But for now we'll just stick to online store and we'll just click next. And then it will ask you if you want to begin with a template or if you want to get a custom built site. So if you, for example, were to select with a template, you can see a whole range of templates that Wix have. So when it comes to Wix, they have thousands of templates that are responsive, mobile ready, and suitable for SEO as well. And what's also good about Wix is that you can filter between different website types. So for example, if you have like fashion and clothing, if that's the type that you're selling, food and drink, things like that, and also the website type as well. So we've got online store, but if you are a health and wellness product website, if your website is about travel services, things like that, it'll show you templates that are more suited to those kind of websites. So the only thing you need to do is essentially just go through each of the templates and then select which one that you want. And then once you've selected it, all you need to do then is just edit your site. Everything is designed, everything is mobile ready and free for you to use exactly how it's done. The only thing you need to do is update it with content. So for example, if we select this one, what you can do is you can either view it first and see what it's like. So this is essentially the website. It's all designed out for you. So essentially use this template as a starting point. You can see all the design, you can see the layout, and you can see what looks good in terms of the font and what layout looks good. And then all you need to do is then select which one that you want. So if you're happy with this one, and you can also just see it on mobile as well, and you can see that these sites are mobile ready, and they look good on mobile as well. Once you're done, you just want to click on edit the site, and it'll open the site in edit mode, and the only thing you need to do from this point is update the content, maybe remove some sections if you don't like them, move around some sections, add more sections, things like that. Update the branding. Maybe your branding is slightly different to the branding used here, and that's totally fine because it's really easy to change the colors and the font as well, but at least you're not starting off with a completely blank slate. There is a starting point for you as well. And you can see the Wix editor here. So you've got the actual website, and then you've got the actual edit options over here as well. And at the top you have your domain, and you have the device switcher as well, and the navigation bar to switch between your pages. But you can see it's already literally laid out for you. One of the first things that you might want to do is update the site theme, like the branding, so the colors and the font used. You might like where everything's placed, but maybe it's just not the right colors with the branding that you already have. So what you want to do is go down to the site design here, and you're looking for site theme, and you want to click on customize. And this is a site theme here, and it's split between colors and text. So if you start off with colors first, you can see the theme colors are split between 5 different colors, and each of these colors are used differently throughout your theme. So for example, color 1 is for background and text. So color 1 is used for the background and text across your site. If you've added Wix apps like the Wix stores or blogs to your site, those pages will use the same background and text colors. In most cases, you'll see that the brightest tint, so tint 1, so you'll see this is the main color here, and each of these colors are differently saturated. Tint 1 is usually the brightest tint, and tint 2 is the darkest tint, and that's used for text. So tint 1 is used for the background color, and tint 2 is used for the background for the text as well. So when you are adjusting the shades and not adjusting the color, we recommend that you create a high contrast pairing so that the information on your site is very easy to read. So right now you can see most of the text is in white background with a darker font. If we were to adjust the shade, we can just click into the shade here and adjust the color to however we need it. And then just click apply, and you can see that this example, the white background has changed, and you've got the red background as well. So it's different ways that you can change it. Color 2 is the action color. So this is what you'll use to drive visitors to make the choices that you want by selecting an action color that stands out. This color is used for actionable elements like links, buttons, and menu elements. And it also appears in themed elements like buttons and boxes, as well as pages related to like the Wix stores and the Wix blog as well. The tint in the middle for this color is used most frequently, so we recommend choosing a color that contrasts with your background, so it contrasts with tint 1 in your color 1. This ensures that the most important elements on your site are accessible, and they're noticeable as well. And then colors 3, 4, 5 are additional colors, so you can choose 3 additional colors to complete your color scheme. These are displayed in various places across your site, so they should match and they should complement the colors that you already have selected. And once you're happy with everything, what you want to do is just make sure that you have saved everything. You just click on save at the top, and then just click save and continue. And then you can move on to other parts of your website that you can change. So we've sorted out the color. The next thing we want to sort out now is the text. So once you are back in the site colors and theme editor, we've switched from color. Now we're going into text here. So the text will allow you to choose the text theme and customize the styles for the different types of text, like the different heading types, and you've got the different paragraph types as well. So your text theme contains several heading and paragraph styles for the different text elements on your site, and you can adjust each of them to your liking. So for example, if we go for the heading 1, you can adjust it for the actual font family, you can adjust it for the font size, and you can adjust it for color, and you can also adjust it for actual like line spacing and color spacing as well. If we tone this down a bit, maybe change that to 30, so anywhere that's using heading 1, it's going to change the text across your site as well. And you want to click apply to save your changes. If you want to change the text style of a specific text element on your site, you can change it from a text settings panel, and you'll use this to kind of make sure that you're using the correct heading as well, and the correct sizing as well. So you can have different like paragraph stylings. You just want to make sure that you're using the correct font for each of them. So when you're adding a paragraph element onto here, you just select which paragraph style that you want, and it's already styled for you. It just means it's an easier way to update the branding if you ever needed to. Instead of going into each individual paragraph and changing the styling to the new styling, you just need to change it into this one place in the text theme, and it'll change all of the paragraph 3s if you're changing paragraph 3s across your site, or if it's paragraph 1 or heading 2s, things like that. As you're making changes and you're adding new content and things like that, what you want to do is always make sure that you switch to the mobile view and check what this site looks on mobile. So for example, you can see on mobile, so like this paragraph here, it's sort of aligned to the left and looks a bit odd. So what we can do is click into the text, click on settings, and we want to change the alignment to the middle so that it looks a little bit better. What's really good about Wix is when you change something on mobile, it won't affect anything on desktop. So we've changed the styling to middle aligned, but right now on desktop it's still right aligned, so nothing's actually changed here. Something that you might need to do if you're having trouble with making something mobile friendly is you might need to hide certain sections. So you can see when I click on this section here, I have this option to hide this section from mobile. We don't always recommend that just because you are essentially losing that content. Google will still see it, but your customers won't. If it's an important bit of content, you want to make sure that it's always there and it's just built and it's responsive on mobile. But just in case you ever did need to do that, or if there's something that's just not relevant at all, but you want to keep it for desktop and hide it on mobile, you do have that option. So for example, if we hide this option here, it doesn't delete the section, it's still there, it will still show on desktop. You can see the section here, but it's just hidden on mobile. And you can see if we switch back to the mobile view, we can go into this layers action here, and you want to click onto the hidden on mobile section, and you can see this section here. So what you can do is click on it again just to show it if you ever wanted to bring that back. Again, we don't recommend hiding sections, but sometimes it is needed, and you do have that option with Wix as well if you do need to. Another thing you can do with Wix is add in templates. So maybe there's another section that you want to add. What you can do is click on add section, and you can add pre-designed sections. So these sections are already designed for you and it'll follow your branding. So for example, there's welcome sections, there's the bite sections, there's team content sections. It just means then everything is already designed for you. You don't need to go in and design something yourself. And all you need to do is select the design that you want, click into it, and then once it's on the page, all you need to do then is update, the content, update the styling. Maybe you don't want this to be heading 2, you can have it to heading 3 or something like that. Just whatever it is that you're wanting to do. And it just means then you're not designing everything from scratch. So there's some sections that are designed for you, and you can sort of make changes however you need to, whether that's updating the styling, updating the content, maybe that's removing things or adding things. So maybe you want to add an image to certain sections. It just means it makes it easier for you to design your website as opposed to having to design fully from scratch. And if you're someone who hasn't designed a website before, or you're learning out, it's a good way to kind of play about with layouts and see what you can do and get sort of an idea as well. Wix, as I mentioned before, is fully free to use, but if you do want to add more features, especially things like connecting your own domain, getting a custom domain, you do need to pay for, but they have pretty affordable plans as well. So that's one way to kind of design your website. So Wix is one platform that does that. Another platform that will cater for Wix, or for templates, both pre-made templates or custom-made templates, is WordPress. So WordPress is a free and open source content management system, otherwise known as a CMS, and it is basically a platform that allows you to host and build your own website. WordPress contains plugins and a template system, so you can customize any website to fit your business needs, blog, portfolio, and even an online store as well. It's important to note that there's two versions of WordPress. There's WordPress.org and there's WordPress.com. WordPress.com is a hosting platform that provides you with a turnkey solution, so you can essentially build your website with WordPress using a theme, and then WordPress.com will then host it for you as well. So it's a very all-in-one solution, while WordPress.org is a self-hosted solution, so you take care of the hosting yourself, but the software that's used to run both of these versions is the same. WordPress.org and WordPress.com are two ways to kind of use the WordPress software. When you're first starting out with your WordPress website, you want to make sure that you pick the platform that works best for you. WordPress.org, sometimes known as the real WordPress, is a very popular website platform, and it has lots of great things and lots of flexibility as well. It's an open source software and it's 100% free for anyone to use. All you need is a domain name and web hosting. That's why it's referred to as self-hosted WordPress. A lot of the benefits with WordPress.org is that it's free, it's open source, and it's also very easy to use. WordPress is used by over 43% of all websites on the internet, so it's a very popular platform out there with a lot of support out there. With WordPress.org websites, you own your own website and all of its data. Your site won't be turned off because someone decides that it's against their terms of service. You are in full control. And you can add free, paid, and custom WordPress plugins or apps to your website. So a plugin is essentially an extra app that you can add to your website to kind of increase the functionality or add new functionality. With WordPress.org, you can customize your website design as needed. So you can add free or premium WordPress themes, and you can also create your own custom designs or modify anything that you want. So when it comes to designing your own website, it's a lot more flexible to use. With Wix, as you've noticed, you have to use one of their templates. WordPress, you can use one of their templates, or you can edit an existing template, or you can even just create your own template yourself. Some of the cons of WordPress.org though is that, like all websites, you need some kind of web hosting. Initially the cost can be around $3 to $10 a month, but as your website grows and gets more traffic, the web hosting plan costs will increase as expected, but by then you should be making enough money to cover those costs as well. You will also need to install WordPress yourself. So with Wix, you've seen, is very easy. You just set up an account and everything is set up for you. With WordPress, it's a little bit more work. You need to set up your own web server and install WordPress that way. But there's a lot of WordPress hosting companies that offer one-click WordPress installation options. Companies like Bluehost and SiteGround will offer one-click WordPress installation, and they're also very good for WordPress hosting as well. Whether your WordPress website is in development or if it's live, both those hosting platforms are really good. With WordPress.org, you are responsible for any updates, and you're also responsible for backups as well. The real cost of WordPress.org website varies on what you're trying to build. If it's a simple blog, portfolio, website, membership, e-commerce store, there are loads of other factors like free templates versus premium templates, free plugins versus premium plugins, things like that. If you're in a low budget, you can design and build your website for as little as almost $50 a year. but it's really up to you how much you're kind of willing to spend and how much you would need to spend based on your own technical background. If you have a technical background and you are familiar with like languages like PHP, HTML, CSS, you could get away with building out your own custom theme and maybe paying for maybe 1 or 2 plugins. If you are someone that's just starting out, then paying for a bit builder like Elementor or Divi, while it will increase your costs, will help you with the build and allow you to create a custom theme a lot more easier and a lot more quicker as well. WordPress.com, however, is a hosting service created by Automatic. So this company also was led by the co-founder of WordPress. The WordPress.com hosting service has 6 pricing plans. A lot of the benefits of WordPress.com is that it's free for up to 3 GB of space. After that, you will have to switch to a paid plan, and everything is managed for you. So your updates, backups, WordPress will take care of all of that. But there are several cons to WordPress.com. A lot of them, the main one being is that they place a lot of ads on all free websites. So your users will see ads, they don't make any money from it, you don't make any money from it, but they will make money from it. So if you don't want your user to see their ads, you can then, while there will be ads placed on your site by WordPress, you are not allowed to sell ads on your own website, which severely limits ways to monetize your site. Especially if you run a high traffic site, then you can apply for their advertising program. Otherwise, running ads on your site isn't really an option. You also can't upload your own plugins. Free plan users get built-in Jetpack for free. Business users can install a selection of compatible plugins, but they can cost up to $300 a year. So you want to, if you are someone that if you do have a list of plugins that you wanted to add in mind, just be careful because that can get very costly as well. As I mentioned before, WordPress is pretty flexible with their themes in that you can upload, you can use, current themes, you can edit their own themes, and you can upload your own custom themes. You can't do that with WordPress.com. Free plan users can only install from the limited free themes collection, and then premium and business plan users can also select premium themes. So there's a lot of limits for customization as well. So when you're designing your own website, if you're happy enough sticking with like a template design for now, just so you have a place where you can direct users to, then that's fair enough. But if you're wanting to have a very flexible way of customizing your site and or you have a specific design in mind, whether or not you're designing it yourself or having someone design it for you, WordPress.org might not be the way to go because it limits you severely in terms of design. Another really important factor to mention when you're working with WordPress.com is that they can delete your site at any time if they think it violates their terms of service. So you don't fully own your website, it's owned by WordPress.com. So the WordPress.com hosting platform is very limited when you're on the free, personal, or even the premium plans. To unlock some of their more advanced features, you have to be on the business plan, and that can start at $300 per year, or even their VIP plan that can cost you up to $5,000 per month. In this video, we'll focus specifically on WordPress.org, but you do have the option for WordPress.com as well. So the WordPress dashboard looks a little like this. And this is essentially the back end, and this is what you'll use to manage your pages, your blog content, and also your theme and templates as well. So to select a WordPress template, what you want to do is go into Appearance, and you want to go into Themes. So a WordPress theme will essentially decide how your website will look. It's essentially a group of files that involve style sheets, code, image files, things like that, and that will basically decide how your website will appear. Themes will control your site's layout. It will control the colors being used, the branding, hyperlink colors. All of that is decided within your site's theme. So WordPress have a bunch of free and also paid themes as well in their directory. There's also third-party platforms that will offer paid premium WordPress themes as well. So to add a new WordPress theme, what you want to do is click into Add New once you're in the theme directory, and you'll see a whole bunch of themes first come up. So these are all free themes. And similar to Wix, there is a filter where you can filter by the features, so what kind of website that you want, whether that's an e-commerce website or a blog website, and some features as well. So things like if you want a theme that will allow you to have a custom header, a theme that will allow you to have template editing, theme options, all of those things, you can just select that and just apply the filters and basically decide exactly how you want your theme to look. So these are all pre-made themes by WordPress, but what you can do then is edit the themes directly within the theme files, or you can just fully upload a theme by yourself, and that'll allow you to have a custom theme and a website that isn't available anywhere else, and also a website that's designed specifically to how you want it as well. Once you've selected a theme, what you can do is click into it, click on details and theme and preview, and this will essentially tell you a little bit about the theme, any reviews, any additional kind of FAQs, things like that, and you can sort of see exactly the layout as well in the preview. And then once you're happy with that, all you need to do is click install and activate the theme on your website. It's important to note that a WordPress site can only run one theme at a time, so if you activate another theme, the theme that it was currently using will be switched off, and then everything will move over to your new theme as well. So when it comes to designing your website, there's lots of kind of options that you have in terms of doing it yourself, whether that's using a platform like Wix or WordPress to use pre-made themes, whether they're paid or premium. You do have that option. If you use WordPress as well, you have that added option of having a fully custom theme that's specific to you and unique to you and will be very specific to your functionality. When you're deciding whether or not you want to use a theme or things like that, it entirely depends on your budget and your own skill set. So if you have some experience, then maybe starting off with a template or using WordPress with a page builder will allow you to design your own website at a fraction of the cost, but you still have that custom functionality as well. If you have no technical background whatsoever, then maybe getting a custom theme developed for you or using it or hiring out an agency might be better. If you do decide to go down the route of hiring out a external web design or development company, you should understand that it's one of the most critical decisions you can make when you're selecting that, because they will ultimately be the responsible for the success of your project, and they will have an impact on the future of your business. So if you do decide to hire a web design agency, there are certain questions that you want to ask before hiring them to help you, and that will essentially allow you to select the best web design company for your firm as well, and they cover a wide range of topics as well. So the first thing that you want to ask them is how much the service will cost you. So if you're hiring a web design agency, you'll be paying for a professional service, so you can expect to work with an entire team of experts to help you plan, develop, design, and manage the project. And you want to make sure that you understand who's going to be working with you on the project, what are the qualifications of your team members, how much time will each team member dedicate to the project, and how will you be charged for extra features outside of the scope of the project. So if there's anything extra that you want added, how much will that cost, whether that's additional support, more plugin features, more functionality features, changes to design. All of these things might have a cost attached to them, so you want to find out exactly what that would be. You also want to understand what are the core services the web design has to offer. So you should work with a web design firm that has the talent and ability to effectively manage and complete your project, and no aspect of your project should be an afterthought or shouldn't get enough attention. So you need to know whether the firm you choose to work with will be able to meet your expectations when it comes to design, marketing, and development. So questions that you want to ask are things like, is the web design firm able to offer development, marketing services, and comprehensive design that meets industry standards? Are they capable of developing a mobile app that's consistent with all of the marketing platforms of the brand? Are they able to develop mobile applications that are consistent with all of the brand's marketing platform, things like that? If those things are important to you, you want to make sure that you're asking about them as well. You also want to ask about the firm's qualifications or any credentials or even any awards. So the web design firm you hire should be well respected in the web design industry. So things like, are they a firm key player in the web design industry? Are they viewed as a leader? What is the rating of the web design? Does the firm have a good track record for client satisfaction? A really good way to check this is, one way is on their own website. So you'll see on their website if they have a review section or even a portfolio section where they talk about previous clients they've worked with, some results that they've got, and also what went well and how their clients improved in terms of their business. Another way to find this out is checking if the client has any Trustpilot or Google reviews. The good thing about leaving companies getting Google reviews or Trustpilot reviews is that they can't be edited, and they will need to keep, they can't really remove them either. So all the reviews, they're kind of, they're not biased towards the company. So if you type in the name of the company and you want to look for the Google reviews or any Trustpilot reviews, you can read through the reviews of that company and look at their track record, how helpful have they been, what's their overall review, how many reviews have they seen, how recent are they, and you can see any good service that people have offered, whether there's so many issues or anything like that. So it's a really good way to see the company's track record as well. And it will give you an indication of what your experience will be if you were to work with them as well, when you look at other people's experience as well, other customers, previous customers and things like that. So that's really it. Once you have decided if you want to create your own theme or hire out, it's up to you how you want to manage that, whether that's building out yourself or hiring a design agency as well. We have lots of videos as well to just show you how to install WordPress, how to use WordPress, how to use Wix, so have a look. And if there's anything else you're having trouble with, get in touch today and we'll help you out as well.